Hello, folks, and welcome to today's episode of the Hospitable Hosts podcast. Today, we are speaking to Abby from our product management team. Abby's going to be telling us all about direct bookings, why we should be taking direct bookings in the first place, and a bit more about Hospitable Direct and all the new features we have there. Today, we're not going to get into too much detail on how to drive more direct bookings. We'll touch on it a little bit, but we're more focused on the different kind of benefits that Hospitable provides and the different features that we're releasing in the near term. Cool. Hey, Abby. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Miles. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cool. So, how are you doing, Abby? Day going well so
I'm
far?
good. Yes, going well. It cooled off a little bit here. Same where you are too. We're both in hospitable sweatshirts.
Yeah. I'm slightly worried that the end of this summer is coming soon. But yeah, which is life.
Yeah.
Cool. So, to start off, Abby, we're obviously here to talk about direct, but would love to get to know a bit more about you and your role, and I guess your time at Hospitable so far to kind of introduce our audience to Abby.
Yeah, sure. I joined Hospitable a little less than a year ago now. Like we're a couple weeks away from it being officially a year.
Right.
And I joined as a product manager for our direct product. And when I joined over a year ago, I was taking over from Andrew, who had kind of built direct, launched the product with the team back in 2023. And so since then, my focus has been on scaling direct, like how can we get more of our customers on direct? How can we make it easier for our customers to manage their direct bookings, get more direct bookings? Um, and because of that, I kind of wear lots of different hats because, as I'm sure we'll talk about today, um, at Hospitable, we do direct differently than others, especially with our direct premium product. And so with direct premium, we're the merchant of record. And so there's kind of an operational component of that too, where we handle payments, risk management, fraud prevention, even taxes, and so those kind of all fall under my role
Mm.
as well.
Cool. Awesome. And so clearly that's kind of the direction we're going to go. We're going to talk a bit more about Hospitable Direct specifically. But I guess we won't do too much kind of intro content in this episode, but just as a quick explainer for anyone that isn't doing direct booking at all, generally with any provider, what is the benefit for doing direct bookings and why hosts should consider having a direct booking website?
Yeah, honestly, I think if you aren't already doing direct today, you should get started as soon as you can. Because if you're not, you're only relying on the channels like Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking for your business. And you're essentially letting them kind of control your business, your terms of service, the relationship with your guests as a customer. And you're also missing out on a significant amount of revenue. Kind of to put it into perspective, we look at the average booking value for our customers on direct, and that's normally around like $1,500. And so if you compare the fees that you would pay, even using our direct premium product with like Airbnb, there's about at least a 10% difference in the fees that you would pay on those bookings. And so if you do the math there, that means for every booking that you get direct versus through Airbnb, that's an extra $250 in your pocket, or an extra, some of that you could push on along those cost savings to your guests, and that adds up very quickly. Um, and I mean, the good news is too, as we'll talk about today, um, with direct at Hospitable, just like we want to make it, as easy as possible for you to run a short-term rental business, we also want to make it as easy as possible for you to get started on direct. And so you can do that within a couple of minutes, set up a direct booking website and get started on Hospitable. And so, you get to take control of your business, you get to keep more of your revenue, and it's super easy. You can do it very quickly.
Nice, yeah, and I guess that's kind of something that people have almost come to expect from a direct booking service. The ability to kind of create a website or integrate with an external website. So obviously we do that. You can kind of automate your messaging, connect it to your calendar so you don't get a double booking between
Mhm.
Airbnb and Booking.com and direct booking. Um, and you kind of touched on it at the start, but what are some of the kind of differentiators for how Hospitable approach direct and kind of goes above and beyond to that next level of kind of, I guess, protection for hosts?
Yeah, so we just had a town hall and we talked a lot about like the evolution of direct and how it came to be and how that origin story kind of evolved into where we are today. And I'll share just a little bit of that now. And I think that'll kind of explain how and why we do things differently. And so the motivation behind direct really went back to COVID. And during that time, I think it was a pretty large wake up call for a lot of hosts because they realized that Airbnb, the booking platforms, were largely siding with the guests. The guests could kind of cancel, get a full refund, and that could have a massive impact on, your business. And so our customers really wanted to take back some of that control, to own the relationship that they have with their guests as their own customers, and not be vulnerable to the booking platform being able to give a guest a refund or really determine like where you land in search results and have massive control over your business in that way. The problem is going out and taking direct bookings isn't isn't super simple unless you have a plan, because there's a lot of risks that come along with getting that control of, taking over your own bookings. So a lot of our customers weren't comfortable with just taking bookings from anyone on the internet. Um, or,
Fair.
yeah, you have this super expensive, nice property that you've put so much work into, and that's taking on a lot of risk. Um, the other thing is payments and chargebacks. Now you have to worry about that. You have to figure out how to dispute a chargeback. If you get a fraud, if someone goes into your website and they book with a stolen credit card, you're out that cash because there's a chargeback there. Then you also have to worry about your taxes, which in the US is like a whole job in and of itself sometimes. We see taxes change all the time. Taxes increase, like your town will, increase your tax from 3% to 4%, or there'll be a new tax. You have to be registered to remit those taxes. And so all of those things um, are kind of blockers to being able to go and really make direct a significant part of your business. And so when we built what is now direct premium, we built it to kind of keep that in mind with the guard, to give our customers the guardrails and support that they need around those like compliance and related things. And so it's not just, you set up a website and you connect it to a payment processor, and you're kind of in charge of everything else. We are the merchant of record, so we handle payments, which means we also handle chargebacks, take liability for all fraud chargebacks, and we put a lot of work into fraud prevention on our platform as well. And then if you get a chargeback, we actually handle that dispute for you as well. We do guest vetting on every single reservation.
Mm.
So you're not just getting anyone booking through your website. We are going to verify that that person is who they say they are and put them kind of through like a risk assessment to make sure so that you have all the information that you need when you decide to accept someone into your home. And then we also offer damage protection along with that too, to kind of bridge the gap that you get with AirCover and Airbnb. And then we also do taxes for direct premium. We calculate taxes for you, so you don't have to worry about making sure that those things are staying up to speed on what taxes you should be collecting. And then we also remit taxes in a growing number of states and jurisdictions within the US.
Nice. Yeah. So way, way more than just a website and also a prevention of having just randoms from the internet staying at your
Yes.
property.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So you mentioned town hall. Obviously, we do our public bi-weekly town halls. Always kind of a big kind of you know news item for the product and engineering team to kind of share the things they've most recently worked on. Off the back of that, what were some of the new direct features that you launched that are maybe most excited about?
Yeah, so in that town hall that I mentioned where we really focused on direct, the big launch that we had there was we now support direct booking sites, but really the full direct booking experience
Mm-hmm.
in multiple languages. So it's now available in English, Spanish, French, and German. And what's really cool about how we approached it is that um, it only takes like a couple of minutes to start accepting bookings in different languages.
Nice.
And so, yeah, so all you have to really do is go in, add a language, and we will translate all of the content on your site into that language. If when you go and you make updates to your property information, we're translating that as well. It's all done automatically. And then when your guests go to your website, they will interact with your website in their preferred language. But that goes all the way. The reason why I say it goes all the way through the full direct booking experience is then once they come into your guest portal, all of the content there is in their preferred
Mm,
language. They can purchase upsells in their preferred language. They they can sign a rental agreement in their preferred language. And that was us kind of building on some of the things we already did in the products. We've always had, messaging with guests. You can add multiple versions of your messages in different languages. This is kind of us bridging the gap. So now on direct, the full booking experience can be in a guest preferred language, and then you can message back and forth with guests in their language. And yeah, so that was the big product launch of recent that we're really, really excited about.
nice. And how do hosts go and set it up? I mean, obviously, it's not you or our support team in the background doing those translations. Like, how quick and easy is it to get going with kind of translated, um, the whole translated flow, I guess?
Yeah, it's very easy. You can do it within a couple of minutes. Yeah, you just go in, you decide which languages you want to add, and then immediately we are actually automatically translating all of that content using AI. And that's just done in the background. And so that's all you need to do to get your site set up in your preferred languages or in whatever languages you want to support. You go and also create different versions of your rental agreement in the languages that you want to make those available in, as well as your messaging. But that can all be done automatically as well. We just have that as a separate step because we always recommend that you review if you're going to have somebody sign a document. You want to make sure that you're
Yeah,
reviewing the translations also on the messages. Sometimes you want to adapt that content differently. So you have the ability to do that. But just to get your full website, guest portal, and everything translated, you can do that within like a couple of clicks, and then it maybe takes a couple minutes in the background to translate everything.
nice. So I guess the point is, even if you're not comfortable speaking that language or reading or writing that language, you're able to translate everything and start welcoming guests from a different part of the world, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to speak that language in order to to bring in guests that do. And I think what's nice about that is you can almost have the full, even after booking, you can almost have the full guest experience in the guest preferred language because of things that we were already doing within the product, where all of your messages can be translated into the guest preferred language. Any incoming messages, so if the guest is messaging you in French and you don't speak French, they will be translated for you within your within the inbox. So you can communicate back and forth with the guest, both in your preferred languages.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, you don't have to. You can speak only English or only Spanish, and it's super easy in that way.
Nice, I love that. So maybe taking a little bit of a step back and thinking about how to get started with direct bookings. Obviously, Hospitable doesn't kind of go out and kind of promote your direct booking website for you. We don't run massive billboards across New York saying "Come and stay with Abby." What's the best way for people to get started with direct bookings and start moving people from maybe booking with like an Airbnb or Booking.com and booking directly with them instead?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first step is just to get your website set up. And like I said, that takes only a couple of minutes with our hospitable hosted sites. You can, we take all of your like property listing information that we have already, your amenities, your photos, all of that. You kind of pick a template that you like, apply some of your branding or logo, and you're ready to go. But like you said, once the website is set up, that's not the last step. There's a little bit of effort that goes into actually bringing guests in to your website and to booking direct. Probably the easiest thing to do, which everyone should start doing if they're not doing already, is getting their returning guests who come in through Airbnb, VRBO, to book with them directly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a little bit careful. You don't ever want to, take a booking away from a platform. But when that guest comes back and they think of booking with you again, you want to make sure that they know how to book with you directly if that's how they want to do it. So there's several different ways of doing that. It could be, just something as simple as like leaving a QR code in your property that guests can scan and get access to your direct booking site. Maybe you also throw in a promo code as well for them to book
Yeah.
with you direct the next time they come back. Um, or, you can use some other marketing tools, like StayFi is a partner of ours, to do marketing and retarget your returning guests and have them book direct. That's probably the easiest way to get started. Is now, like, you did a really good job of hosting guests, you have that relationship with them, so next time they come back, have them do it directly. um and then within, for guests coming in and finding you for the first time, we integrate with Google Vacation Rentals. That takes like almost no time at all just to publish your listing to Google Vacation Rentals. And so you can get some leads that way as well. Social media is great. I know we have like tons of content already on how to do marketing for direct. And so plug our own podcast and our blog on a bunch of resources on how to bring guests into direct bookings. But I think retargeting your returning guests is a great way to get started.
For sure. And we can include some of those resources in the show notes at the bottom as well, so people can go do some further reading or listening if they so wish. So you kind of talked earlier as well about kind of the benefits of direct, kind of around taking control and paying less and fees. Do you think that direct is more beneficial for property managers or individual hosts, or is it kind of equal?
I think it's equal. And anyone can benefit from direct. You definitely don't need to be a property manager or even have a ton of, inventory, a ton of listings to benefit from going direct. And so everyone should do it. And for the reasons that we described, right? Like, you want to have some control of your business. You don't want to be completely at the whims of Airbnb. And so everyone would benefit from going direct in that way. I think there's definitely benefits for hosts or property managers that do have multiple properties. That can be really nice when you set up your website, because if somebody comes and they stay with you and in one property, and they're coming back next year for their family vacation again, and now they're bringing along, more of their family members, and they can see on your website, hey, you have multiple properties in this area, or even, I don't know, they're going somewhere else next
Mm-hmm.
year, and they can see your entire portfolio from your direct booking site. That's always great. We see a lot of bookings coming in from our websites that have that multi-property search capability. But that's not to say that someone with a single property can't find the same benefits or be super successful with direct bookings. So it's for property managers and for hosts.
Nice. And I think then final question is really, can you give us a sneak peek on how Hospitable Direct is going to be evolving next? Like what is on the roadmap that's going to help benefit hosts?
Yeah. So I will say, kind of going back to the evolution of direct from where we
Mm-hmm.
started, um, and where we're going now. For a while, we've really been focused on there's kind of three core challenges for direct, and that's what guides our roadmap and how the product evolves. So those three things are, um, and for hosts, building trust, and that goes both ways. So hosts need to be able to trust their guests. They're not just accepting bookings from anyone on the internet. And then guests need to be able to feel confident when they go and they find, a website that they're booking on. They need to have trust in you as a host or as a business. And so we've been thinking about, ways we can build trust within direct websites within the product. And then the third thing, which we've also talked about a little bit already, is like, how do you stand out? I mean, you don't have the benefit of the big marketing spend that you get when you list your property on Airbnb, Vrbo,
Mm-hmm.
Booking.com. And so that's been a big challenge. And I think for a while, our product development has been focused on the first two challenges. And we've invested so much there with direct premium, like we've talked about. But we're starting to think a lot more about the third one of helping you stand out and bringing in more direct bookings to our customers already on direct. And so as we think about that goal, there's definitely some exciting things that we are looking towards. One is our getting our hospitable sites a makeover and actually built and making that become like a true site builder where you can add multiple pages, you can add blogs,
Nice.
um, make your site really stand out. That also helps with the trust building component as well, quite a bit. We are also thinking about providing more support with marketing and the product itself. We've kind of This is not something we've done in the past. We've kind of dipped our toe into that a little bit, where we do like abandoned booking, retargeting campaigns, and those have been honestly pretty successful. And so we're looking at other ways of helping to basically build marketing automations, whether that's bringing people back into your booking flow or bringing your returning guests to your direct booking site, being able to automate that from within the product. And those kind of go into the goal of like helping you stand out, bringing you more bookings. The other thing that we are focused on is expanding access to direct premium and bringing that to more geographies. So it's it's been very clear to us that direct premium is like the choice for our customers. Like 80% of our customers choose direct premium,
Yeah.
but it's only available in the US, UK, and Australia. And so we want to expand access. We're looking at Canada first and then the EU from there. There's obviously lots of challenges that come along with that because we've got to figure out taxes, we've got to figure out
Mm-hmm.
some compliance related things, but we want to bring direct premium and direct to as many people as possible. And so
Nice.
that's
Nice. I do have pictures of the Canadian Rockies behind me, so hopefully it encourages it along.
yes.
That's cool. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Abby. It's fantastic learning more about Direct, kind of the latest features and what's on the roadmap. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Miles.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We'll be back soon with more episodes from Hospitable Hosts, team members, and partners.